Top 10 ridiculously expensive things that should be cheap. Some products and services seem overpriced given their value or necessity. Here's a list of 10 ridiculously expensive things that really should cost less, considering their practical use or common availability. 1. Printer ink. Printer ink is notorious for being outrageously expensive, often costing more than the printer itself. The cost per page can be steep, despite the fact that ink is relatively cheap to produce. 2. Bottled water. Bottled water costs several times more than tap water, even though both often come from the same source. The price hike comes from the packaging and branding, not the actual water itself. 3. Smartphone chargers. Chargers, cables, and accessories for smartphones are often priced exorbitantly. While these items are crucial for using your device, the cost doesn't match the simple technology involved. 4. Airline baggage fees. Many airlines charge hefty fees for checked bags, even though these fees often surpass the cost of the flight itself. With the price of air travel already high, these added charges feel unnecessary. 5. Coffee in cafes. A simple cup of coffee at a cafe can be surprisingly pricey, even though it's made from inexpensive beans and requires minimal preparation. You're paying mostly for the brand and ambience. 6. College textbooks. Textbooks can cost hundreds of dollars per semester. Despite being used for only a short period, these books are marked up significantly, and digital alternatives often cost the same. 7. Fast food. The price of fast food continues to rise, but much of the cost is tied to packaging, marketing, and delivery rather than the actual ingredients. It seems unfair that a quick meal could cost as much as a homemade one. 8. Prescription medications. Some prescription drugs, especially for common conditions, can be outrageously expensive despite being inexpensive to manufacture. The high cost is often due to patents, markups, and the pharmaceutical industry's practices. 9. Gym memberships. Gym memberships can be excessively expensive, with many requiring long-term commitments for facilities you may not use regularly. Despite the growing trend of low-cost gyms, premium memberships remain pricey. 10. Text messages and calls on international roaming. International roaming charges for calls and texts are often exorbitant, despite the fact that communication is digital and relatively cheap in the modern age. With the rise of apps and Wi-Fi calling, these fees seem outdated and unfair. Conclusion. These 10 items highlight the frustration of paying far more than we should for products and services that are either overly commodified or widely available. With better pricing practices, they could be far more affordable and accessible for everyone.